mechanics, I will just move on to introduce us. So who are we? Well, essentially we are the co-founders of Chatty Caterpillar. My name is Gwen, and I'm a mental health advocate from Singapore. At the same time, I'm also a researcher and a graduate lecturer at NUS, and a former teacher at an MOE school, secondary school level for 8 years. Agatha, on the other hand, she's from Europe, various countries, and she's our curriculum designer and also has many years of experience in health and happiness coaching with a track record of transformational change in the lives of her clients. So today, before we begin, Agatha, are we on live yet? Yes, we would like to actually invite a very special guest, a personal friend of mine, Terence Lao, to give you a little bit of updates on the current mental health scene in Singapore.
Right, thank you, Gwen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Terence, and Agency Director at AI Singapore. So prior to today, right, a lot of people is asking me the reason why are we sponsoring this workshop. So allow me to share with you guys some finding that was done earlier this year. Over here. Okay, as you can see from the left, right, 91% of Singaporeans are worried about mental health, especially on income loss and job instability this pandemic. 64% are anxious about worsening mental health for themselves and their loved ones. And among this group, right, majority are people from 30 to 39, mainly sole breadwinners, and of course, without surprise, 73% are men. So finally, I also want to bring your attention to the 71% that felt that anxiety is one of the most pressing health concerns that they have. That's the reason why we are having this workshop today. Later in the program, right, Agatha and Gwen will share with you guys on how you can better manage your emotion with some activities that you guys can participate in. And of course, before I pass over to Gwen and Agatha, I would also like you guys to know that we are currently the only insurer that covers mental illnesses with 100% premium refund when no claims are done. So without further ado, let me go back to Gwen and Agatha for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Terence, for supporting this advocacy effort, which I believe will really improve the condition of mental health in Singapore and even in other countries. Well, we all know that mental health is something that has been affected by COVID-19. And we just want to say that what we're sharing today, we're sharing here today in the capacity of educators, right? To give you the fundamental knowledge of definitions of mental health and an exercise that you can practice. However, if you find yourself in a condition that is more severe and in requirement of professional help, this is definitely not a substitute for seeking professional help. So we will like to refer you. If you are interested in finding out, just send us a chat personally. We'll refer you to some professionals that can give you help on that level. Okay, but right now, to start us out for the day, Agatha is going to guide us on self-care practices. Agatha, please.
Good evening, everyone. So before we start sharing our main topic of tonight, I would like everyone to take part in this really fast self-care practice. Actually, several practices. So the first practice that we're going to do is going to be breathing. And breathing is something that everyone has there with them all the time. It's available to us every time. And if we can pause and breathe, we can actually change how we feel in the moment. So now let's just practice several deep breaths and see how it goes. Actually, notice how you're feeling right now, this particular moment. And after that, I'm going to ask you again what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and then you can also make a mental note whether anything has changed. So let's start with an inhale, hold, and then exhale, hold. Then inhale again, hold, exhale, and hold. And now when you inhale, the next inhale, imagine how you realize how much air is here available to you to take it in. And you can take as much as you need. You don't need to worry about whether you're going to steal it from someone else, whether other people have enough. You just inhale and you allow the just enough air, as much as you need, to enter your body. And then you pause. And then when you exhale, you let go. You let go of everything that's not serving you anymore. You let go of the air that already served its purpose. And actually, this is a way of breathing with an intention. This breathing can help us to understand that, there are enough resources available to anyone, to me as well. So like air, there's going to be so many resources that as many as I need. Like when I'm breathing, I'm letting in the air to come, as much air as I need. And it's serving its purpose in my body. And then I exhale and let go. And when we learn to actually breathe like this in any area of our lives, it sounds a bit weird, maybe to some of you, but like when we engage in the cycle in our lives, we can actually let go much more easily. We can learn to let go much more easily of things that are not serving us anymore. This was a little bit deeper than I expected, but anyway, I think it's kind of a useful information. Intentional breathing can help us really to calm down, to really understand how we're feeling in this particular moment, in any moment. So now let's go to the next part of self-care, which is also very, very easy. You just rub your ears if you want to feel a little bit more invigorated, to wake up a little bit. We're going to do it now because we want you to be ready to listen what we're going to share with you, because it's really important information and I actually find it life-changing. So yeah, let's wake up if we are a bit tired already from the whole day, right? It's evening now, and rub our ears, rub our hands. Let's shake it all off and stretch. Stretch, look around. Good. I feel good, actually. And the last practice, very short practice that we're going to do right now, is to notice 5 beautiful things around us. Just let your mind find 5 things that you really find beautiful, that you love, that are surrounding you. Can you find them? And if you would like, you can even share in the chat, what beautiful things have you found around you? By asking ourselves this question, we actually let our brains know that there are beautiful things around us. We just need to find 5. We're not asking whether there are any beautiful things around us, because in a way we can always find something beautiful if we give our brain a task to look around and see and notice. And when we learn to do that as often as possible, we actually can reshape how we see the world, how we view the world, right? The perspective on the world. And this can help us also feel better. Wow, I have some questions. Thank you so much. Denise writes that 5 beautiful things around her are her husband, her son, and 3 of her cacti. Thank you. And Gwen is sharing flowers on the desk, colorful folders on the shelf, white boxes, books, Pikachu keychain. And Kokila writes, healing crystals, soft bed, bird, and parents. Thank you so much for sharing. And I can share also, I find actually a lot of things so beautiful. My bed is so beautiful. My bed is in front of me. I have like an office in my bedroom, a beautiful light, and the computer, and the phone, and a cup, and a table. Much more than 5. I can find much more than 5, actually. I feel happy about it. Let's move on. And now, actually, I'd like to ask you, how are you feeling? If you could share that or make a mental note, because I asked you before how you felt. And if you could make a mental note of how you're feeling right now, just see if there is a difference. Notice for yourself. And when you look at this picture, just see a caterpillar. The caterpillar is beautiful. Then the caterpillar is in a different stage and it's beautiful. And there's someone there, right, to appreciate the beauty. And then the caterpillar turns into a butterfly and it's beautiful. And yes, I believe that this is who we are and what we are. We're beautiful at any stage of our lives. As a caterpillar or a butterfly, we are growing, we are evolving, and we can believe that ourselves. If we believe it ourselves, then we can be much, much happier.
Thank you, Agatha. And also, we can also look at ourselves as the observer, right? Even as we think about the 5 beautiful things, they don't have to be perfect. They just be beautiful as they are. So right now, we're just giving you a chance to redeem a free ebook on self-worth that was written by myself and Agatha. We actually completed it this morning, and we really want to share it with you. Okay, so typically, this book actually costs something, right? You can buy it on our website, but for you today, just for today, it's for free. Okay, so this book will talk to you about how you can develop a stronger sense of self-worth even as you're going through maybe difficult times. So we just give you a moment here to take out your phones and scan this QR code, answer a few questions. We guarantee you the questions can be answered within a minute to redeem this free ebook for yourself. Okay? Yeah, and thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, I think you guys are something that we are really grateful for here at Chatty Caterpillar. A real thank you from the bottom of our hearts to everyone who is joining us tonight. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, so before we begin today's session, I'd like to brief you on the ground rules. Okay, number 1, we hope that you can participate actively. In fact, if you can turn on your videos, that will be very much appreciated, all right? Because it can show us your facial expressions and let us know that you are participating, okay, in your own ways. Secondly, if any questions that were asked during the session, you feel like you want to share your answers with us in private, okay, so if that's the case, share your answers through the chat privately to Agatha or myself, and we may read out your answers, but we won't indicate where the answers are coming from. Thirdly, and this is something you're already doing very well, please remain muted unless there's something that you would like to share. And last but not least, okay, it's almost vital, I would say, to have a pen and a notebook, okay? And if you don't have a notebook, just write on any piece of paper, it's fine. Or you can also write on your handphone, all right? So I'll just give you a moment to grab your pen and notebook if you don't have one. This is going to maybe be life-changing, okay? But really, it's up to you, okay? Whether you want to learn or not. So this is when we're going to ask you to use the notebook for the very first time tonight. Is there anything at all that is causing you stress? Okay, so if there is something, please take a moment to write it down on your notebook right now. Okay, you just write as many as you can, or if you just want to focus on one thing, if it's just one thing, that's okay as well. Okay, just write it down. And if you happen to be in a place where you don't have writing instruments, that's fine. Okay, just keep a mental note. Okay, this is the thing it's causing me a bit of discomfort today. Have a mental note of it. Okay. All right. So having done that, okay, we're gonna start off with quite a light and happy note. So we're gonna begin first with a video from the film Despicable Me. Okay, so this character here is Gru. So as you're watching the video, ask yourself, can you identify with what Gru is saying?
A very happy birthday!
How come you're so fat?
Because my house is made of candy, and sometimes I eat instead of facing my problems.
Okay, so are you like Brew? Do you sometimes eat instead of facing your problems? Well, that is like pretty much many of us in Singapore. And yeah, we're going to reenact a little bit of what is happening, you know. So Agatha is going to play the void while I am going to play the boy. Okay, so hi void.
Hi, I'm a void. You can shrink me by feeding booze and junk food.
But now you're even bigger.
No hablo inglés.
Okay, so no hablo inglés means, what does that mean? It means I don't speak English. Okay, so how often do you have this relationship with your voice, right? There's something going on inside you. You can feel it. It's almost like a physical thing inside your chest, for example, when you're stressed. You don't understand what is going on, and very often you seek to, address that particular feeling with some unhealthy coping mechanisms. Okay, if this person is you, even to the very minute degree, then today's workshop is going to be helpful to you because we are going to help you make sense of this void. And when you do that, okay, what you're actually doing is to identify your unmet need. You'll, number one, find healthier ways to be happy. Okay, for instance, you realize that when you're stressed, maybe all you need to do is talk with someone who can support you, right? So you replace stress eating with speaking to someone. That's a healthier way, yeah, because you're not consuming extra calories, right? That leads to a range of health problems. Number two, it also gives you the words to communicate with your loved ones, right? Sometimes it's difficult to tell your wife, your husband, your father, your mother, your friends exactly what's going on, and it's also difficult for them to try to support you. Okay, but if you can pinpoint what your unmet need is, it's going to help you communicate so much better. Last but not least, you'll be able to reassure yourself that things are going to be okay because these unmet needs that you have can actually be met, and then therefore your stress can be resolved in a very healthy way. So the thing is, part of the process that you'll discover today is kind of messy, right? Because if you really want to understand your unmet needs, you will be unraveling yourself as well. So you'll be looking at things like what your values and priorities are. Do you have some fears, vulnerabilities, self-doubt, insecurities, or in a positive light, inner calling and wisdom from within? Many of the time, we are like this onion where we have a core that is shouting out to be heard, but there are so many layers that has been built up over the years that prevent us from getting to the core of who we are. So before we get into the exercises to help you get to the core of the issue, let's make a quick definition of what mental health is. So the World Health Organization defines mental health not just as the absence of a mental disorder, it also involves the ability to think, learn, and understand one's emotions and the reactions of others. Okay, which is what we're doing today. So when you call yourself someone who's mentally healthy, it means that you have achieved a state of balance, both within the environment and with the environment. So if you look at the public health model, we are operating very much in the left side of the spectrum, the wellness spectrum, right? We want to give you the tools and the knowledge that you need to prevent a disease from developing and eventually a need for medical intervention. But at the same time, I would like to say, if any of you here are actually, in the right-hand spectrum, this can also help you, okay, actually make some decisions to change maybe some of the things you can do on daily life that will improve the condition that you're facing. Right, so without any further ado, let's get straight into the program today. Happy Caterpillar Program, identifying and meeting your unmet needs. So our objectives will be, firstly, to explain what unmet needs are and how they are responsible for the bulk of our actions and reactions. Secondly, we're gonna have a practice, okay? So please stay to the very end of today's session because we'll have an actual exercise that will be guided by my very good colleague, Agatha. okay, to help you develop awareness and how to give space to your reactions. Last but not least, that condition, that stressful stressor that is stressing you out right now. Yeah, we're going to practice an exercise to explore why it is there and try to get some wisdom from it.
And before we start, right? Let's set an intention that will help you to understand the focus for the next hour, your focus. The intention will help you to really get what you need from this workshop. And you can set an intention by using the following script, saying to yourself, by the end of this workshop, I would like to achieve, or I would like to feel, I would like to understand or develop, right? So think about it thoroughly, like what would you like to achieve by the end of this workshop? And remember the things that are stressing you out. Remember what we shared in the outline for the workshop. Remember what we shared about what we want to bring to you today, what we want to share with you today. And bearing this in mind, just think for yourself, what exactly do I want to achieve tonight? And we would appreciate it if you could share in the chat what your intention for tonight is, because it can help others maybe to get some ideas, but it would also help us understand your needs better. And next time, maybe we will develop something else for you that might help.
So for those of you who are with us on Facebook Live, you can also put your intentions in the comments.
Yes. Thank you so much. I see an answer. By the end of this workshop, I would like to understand mental health better. The other answer is how I would like to know how I can help my child who's suffering from mental issue. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so keep these ideas, these intentions in mind, and you will definitely get something that will be useful to you. And I have another answer. My intention is how best can I manage my wavery emotions? And I also have a private answer. By the end of the workshop, I would like to achieve
and I'm going to say
I would like to achieve ways on how I can overcome the negative feelings about myself and eventually fully heal from my breakup. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, just keep these intentions in mind. Oh, we have another one. Thanks so much. I would like to develop my emotional awareness and heal myself mentally on a regular basis. Great. Thank you. So now let's move on and start. We're going to watch a video now that explains a lot about what needs are generally. So let's watch it and we'll move on.
Everyone on this earth has needs. It doesn't matter whether you want to have needs or not, you have them. A need is something that is required in order to live, succeed, or be happy. And here's the thing about needs. You can't unneed them. You can't decide that something you need is not required. You can't talk yourself out of it. So your one option when it comes to having a need is to meet it. But this is easier said than done. Why is it easier said than done? Because we so often have aspects of us that are standing in the way of having the need met. This is not natural. You are born understanding that your needs will be met and that it will be easy. A baby is not born panicking that it will not get milk or worrying about having its diaper changed. To the baby, being cuddled is not an impossible dream. We learn through our trauma in our life experience that our needs will not be met, and worse than that our needs are not okay. A common pattern that we have is we go to the places where our needs can't be met in order to get our needs met. It's a little bit like going to an auto repair shop when you want to shop for food. Or it's the person who wants desperately to have a loving, connected partnership and yet directly opts for partners who are unavailable, who are avoidant in nature. The primary need in all beings is the need for love. But what's standing in the way of us being able to get this need met? Oftentimes it's thoughts like, love is not actually ever going to come to me. It's thoughts like, love is dangerous. If in our life experience, we experience love in the context of ulterior motives, we develop a belief that's embedded in our bodies that says that love cannot ever happen without a catch. Because of these types of barriers to love, we do not allow in the very thing we need and want so desperately. From this state, so often we are the person who is starving for food in a grocery store, convinced there's nothing to eat. The people in our life can see that they're giving us the very thing we need and want, but we can't take it in. We have to become aware of what we need. To do this, we have to be able to recognize the feeling of dissatisfaction, craving, wanting, emptiness, desperation. For this very reason, if you're having a difficult time feeling, you obviously won't be able to feel when you feel those feelings.
Right. So at this point, just want to check, was what that was being shared in this video something that is surprising to you, or you already know that there is such a thing called an unmet need. Right. Okay. So some people will say, yeah, actually, I do understand needs. I've already learned about Maslow hierarchy of needs and all that. Okay, but other people will tell me, this is the first time I actually learned that love is a real need. I used to think that I can survive without it. Okay, so this is actually a concept that we're going to expand on a lot in today's session. Okay, but first of all, we're just going to talk a little bit about mood as information theory. Okay, so we actually are being presented with information all the time from our five senses mostly. So for instance, this thing happened to me like really. There was a very hot pot in my kitchen and I didn't know it was hot, so I touched it. And I immediately, out of reflex, I moved my hand away, right? Because my body knows it was a danger signal, right? So it moved it away. And however, very often when we face some signals in terms of our moods and our emotions, instead of saying, hey, this is information, let me process it. Okay, we shove it aside and say, I've got to be tough, I've got to be resilient. Let me ignore this information and just complete my work first. Okay, in fact, sometimes when we face certain moods like frustration, like envy, okay, we actually try to even deny that we have these emotions because these emotions are sometimes perceived as, being toxic, right? Or being somewhat like negative in our society. So we find it very difficult to even admit to ourselves maybe that sometimes we can have this emotions. Okay, but at the same time, ask yourself, what will happen if you lose the ability to sense that a pot is hot? You're gonna burn, right? Your hands are gonna burn. So likewise, the same thing is gonna happen to you when you stop paying attention to your moods. Okay, you are going to experience a burnout. So, the most important thing, of course, is to find that connection with the emotions that you have. I would say that this is actually one of the most vital lessons that you're going to learn in terms of mental health literacy, which is to be able to understand that there are so many kinds of emotions that you have and that every one of them is beautiful in a way. So right now, let's do a practice, which is to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Okay, so without thinking so much, please, share with us via the chat what your feeling is. Okay, you can pick a word from this emotions flower, okay, or you can just pick your own word. And for those of you who are with us now on Facebook Live, you can also select, one of these emotions and put it in the comments. We would like to hear about your emotions right now. All right, thank you. So Tanisha says vigilance. Yeah, because she's our tech support tonight. So she's like really vigilant to see if anybody needs help. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tanisha. And we've got Hadi, who shares that he's intrigued. Yeah, AJ says she's sad. Denise says she's annoyed. Kokila says she's anxious. Well, thank you all for actually sharing how you feel. Okay, Julia says she's anxious. Very often we have people saying they're calm and joyful and serene. Gabriel says he's angry. But today, I think because we allowed you guys to pick anything without judgment, so we are now the real authentic us. Thank you for acknowledging your feelings. This is the first step to healing, right? The wound is there. Let's deal with it now. So I'm just going to explain why it's important to explore your reactions. Just like with the example that I said just now, when you touch a pot that's really hot, the reason why your hand bounces off is because, we have this self-preservation mechanism, right? We want to survive. So very often when our emotions are telling us that something is not quite right, okay, it does not always mean that the situation we are in is bad. Okay, for instance, like after the end of this talk, my objective and Agatha's objective is not to say, oh my goodness, you should just quit your job because when you go there you have a bad mood. Okay, that's by no means what we're trying to say, but you can always think about a different approach of doing something that's, even if it's the same thing, in order to get to a place where more of your needs are met. So how do you get there? Well, basically, this is a frame that I'd like to share with you. Okay, so for those of you who are familiar with the term reframing, okay, so we're going to do a reframe right now. Okay, next time you experience an emotion like what you are said, anger, frustration, annoyance. I'm so annoyed by these speakers right now. You're like annoying me, Just don't like the pattern on her shirt, like what the okay. You experience something like that, you ask yourself, instead of asking why is this happening, like, why a sense of fashion like this one, you can try asking, what is this trying to teach me? Very often you'll realize that maybe what it's trying to teach you is you do have control over basically what you decide to feel about my fashion sense, for example. Right, you don't like what I'm wearing. I'm just kidding, okay. Or something else that you don't like. Is there a different way of looking at it? Okay, or maybe it's just telling you that you have identified within yourself a place that needs healing. Yeah, because very often we are triggered on the outside by things that by wounds that we have not healed yet from the inside. Yeah, so for instance, if I've had like a past of being maybe bullied in school, okay, for those of you who are students with us today, tonight, if I've been bullied before, then in the future, when I encounter someone else who speaks to me in a very similar way, I will find myself easily triggered. And it's not because that person has maybe intentionally triggered me, but because the wound that came from bullying has not yet healed. Okay, so when I transform my thought, I reframe the way I perceive this reaction, I realize that now I have a clearer idea of what needs to be worked on. So I can really, I can actually speak to my friends, I can speak to a therapist, I can spend time on self-reflection to ask a very important question. What must I do to heal from the wounds of being bullied when I was younger?
So yes, we would like to say that recognizing our reactions is really vital for us to really better understand ourselves, to get to know ourselves better, and to heal. What are reactions? Yeah, reactions can be very different. Of course, they are mostly based on feelings that we experience. But sometimes we can't even notice the feelings. We just notice like thoughts, ideas, or like we do something straight away. We don't even like catch what feeling caused it. We just see behavior. Or for example, our bodies respond in a certain way. Like we might have some symptom and it's a reaction. It's a body's response to something that happened in the environment or from the certain treatment, well, how we treat the body. This is what I mean. So these are reactions. And we would like to say that neither reaction is good or bad. They are neutral. This is information, and they're exactly what they should be. And this mechanism helps us survive. It's really like very, very good mechanism. Like the body just finds the response that it's used to. It's automatic a lot of times, and it survives, and it's fine. But the thing is, a lot of times we don't feel comfortable with these reactions, and we will be like, no, 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 this is not how I want to respond. This is not me. This is not what I really want, what I really like, and so on. And we actually, instead of exploring this reaction, we would push it away. We would say, no, get away, get away, get away. No, it's not me, it's not mine. So, but the thing is, if we want to really thrive, if we want to be able to choose the optimal response, this is what we need to do. We need to go and explore. We need to ask ourselves, what is this feeling trying to tell me? What is this reaction trying to tell me? What is standing behind it? What is driving it? And this is what we're going to explore now. After I tell my story, actually, I have so many stories to share. And something that happened this evening, I think, is a good story already. Because at the moment, my husband is away, and I'm taking care of the kids in the evening. It's my responsibility, only my responsibility. Well, I have a helper, she's helping me, but still, the kids are used to me or my husband to brush their teeth, to put them to bed, and we usually do it, either me or him. Now, because we have a workshop, let's do it fast, like now, you. And they didn't want to cooperate. I was so frustrated about it. I was so frustrated. And I was like, oh my God, this is so frustrating. And I was quite harsh with my daughter because she was like not cooperating at all. She didn't want to brush her teeth. She didn't want to prepare herself for bed. She was like a bit rebellious. And I felt really frustrated. I really didn't like it. And at the same time, I actually was able to look at it like from a perspective. I was like really, really aware that I was frustrated. I was aware of what's going on. And then I asked myself, why am I so frustrated? And I realized, well, because there's a timing issue, time is pressing, I have to do it fast. I don't have time for drama. I don't have time for negotiation. So that was stressing me out. And in a way, I realized this is not about her at all. Okay, she's not cooperating, but she's not used to this either. You know, she's not used to being so like paced, yeah, so fast. So it's not her fault that she's behaving this way. And it's not her fault that the way that she's behaving affecting me, because the issue is actually that I need to organize my time a bit better. Maybe I needed to, now I realize, maybe I needed to actually talk to my helper and let her take care of the kids. And like I should have said, okay, at 7, I will be gone. Please take care of the kids and just do it, you know, just not really think about it too much. Yes, I mean, it is possible. She can do it. It's just she doesn't do it normally. But now I realize, you know, like when I reflect on what happened, I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what to do in the situation. I know how to create better conditions. And I know what I needed. I needed more peace in a way. Like I didn't want to rush. Like rushing actually makes me very stressed. And because I was rushing, I was irritated by my daughter, which was not her at all, right? It was me who was rushing. So I was irritated, but I kind of took it on her. I kind of was like, come on, do it faster. Come on. And I was like, no drama. You go. And then I also, when I felt this way, I actually told her, you know what? I don't have capacity now to actually to attend to your needs right now. So just do whatever I say and go to sleep. Like, I'm sorry about this. I don't have capacity. And I feel that this is a much better response right now that I have compared to what I had before. Like a similar situation, even I was really, really angry before. But yeah, because I explored my reactions, I realized that it was also not about me, but you know, we always can uncover more and more needs behind our reactions. It's not like we're going to share with you an exercise that you can do in order to explore what you need, what is driving your reactions. It doesn't mean, though, that you do it once and you're done. It doesn't mean that even for the same situation, it doesn't mean that you do it once for one situation and then it will never happen again as it was, and then you will never ever react in the same way to the similar situation. Every time we feel uncomfortable, every time we feel unpleasant feelings, it is worth exploring them. It doesn't matter whether it happened before or not, because we can always uncover new layers, new needs, new things that are standing in the way of us being the pleasant us, fulfilled us, resourceful us. And now I realize I need to maybe really trust the support of my helper. Like, I need more trust. This is what I need, actually. More trusting people around me. This is, I think, is going to be my focus for some time now. Trust. Delegating is important, especially if you have an opportunity, right? I mean, I have an opportunity to delegate. I'm not using it. Why? Good question. So, and this is what I learned. And now Gwen is going to share with you about the basic needs that we're going to keep in mind when we do the exploration a bit later.
All right, thank you so much. So I'll share with you about the basic needs that all of us have. And I have to thank someone, my sister Denise, who's with us tonight, for sharing this concept with me. So my sis, she's a trained counselor. And she says that, if you want to ask the question, why is someone reacting in a certain way? If you keep asking, right, the very, very core, until you reach the very, very core reason, it always boils down to one of these 5 things, being unmet, okay? Of course, some are very obvious, right? Like survival needs, so need for food. So why do people have that reaction called hungry until you are angry? It's because there's the need for food, right? Survival needs. Okay, but do you know that, all the other needs are equally important, and that if they are not satisfied for too long, or they're not processed in a way, it actually leads to changes in your personality, and it can also lead to the emergence of some symptoms. Okay, so I'll just give an example of how the pandemic has taken away 2 of the needs that many of us actually typically find easy to meet. Okay, so before the pandemic, it was very easy to satisfy our fun and freedom needs. Yep, because as a Singaporean, during the holidays, June holidays, December holidays, we take leave and we go to another country, we have fun and we enjoy our freedom. But now, as you know, pandemic has made it difficult to travel. Okay, so many of us, we have not traveled for the past 1.5 years. And yet, even in our time in Singapore, we have not tried to meet our fun and freedom needs in another way. So as a result, there are many offshoots that happen in society. One of it can be people wanting to quit their jobs, thinking that, oh my gosh, I just can't take it anymore. You're not realizing that if you really question yourself, why am I behaving this way? Is it really the problem of the job? Actually, it boils down to the fact that your life is already different. Your life has changed because of the pandemic. So you can't keep doing things the same way and expecting all your basic needs to be met. You have to try to meet the needs in another way. So I'll just give you an example of what Agatha and I, and maybe the Chatty Caterpillar family has done. Last week, we took one day off, and Agatha and I brought her kids, the same kids that we had to put to sleep earlier. Okay, so we can give you the talk tonight. We decided to take a day off work to bring them to the museum. And then at the end of it, we actually went to a restaurant. We went to a restaurant at MBS and went all the way up to the top, and we're like, okay, great. We spent a little bit of money, but we felt that once we can meet that fun and freedom need for the kids, for us, in a sense, we don't really feel like life has actually deteriorated that much. And then we get back to this, which is what I want to share with you, our true self. Okay, so sometimes people say, "Oh, I've seen your true colors," and they say it in quite a negative way, right? As if to say that, "Oh, I've seen how you can behave when you are stressed out." But we believe that the true colors is really the person that you are when you have most of your needs met. Okay, so this true self is a centered self. Okay, someone who basically, imagine this, okay, just because you're hungry, you can already show signs of anger. Imagine what happens if more of these needs are not being met and some more concurrently, right? Yeah, you're not going to be centered. Okay, but at this point, I think Denise has raised her hand. So Denise, would you like to add something, please?
Hi, Gwen. Can I get back to the previous slide? Oh, okay, can. So, okay, just give me a minute to start my video. Hi, I look just like Gwen. Okay, yes, so this, I just wanted to add a bit more. This 5 basic needs that come from this thing called choice theory reality therapy. So we believe that the reptilian brain, the original reptilian brain has just one need, which is survival, pertaining to like enough, like what Gwen said, enough food, enough water, and like in modern society, enough finances, but also pertain to sexual activity. It pertains to reproduction and all that. So that's actually quite a strong and the oldest need. But as our brain started to develop and get more sophisticated, we started to have love and belonging, power, fun, and freedom. So yeah, she's very right to say that in this pandemic, we couldn't really meet our fun and freedom need. And some people, their freedom need is very high. So those are probably going to go to Germany at the end of the year, when the belt opens, because yeah, freedom need is so strong. Once there's any kind of travel or when it is allowed, they will just do it. But other people, their freedom need might be very small and their love and belonging need might be higher. So okay, what I'm saying is that our profile or our needs are different, like our 5 fingers. Some people got very high freedom need, but very low power need. Some have high survival need and low fun need. Okay, if you want to learn more about CTRT, you can ask me and I'll point you to the experts, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Denise. Okay, so from what Denise has shared, that's why it's so important to explore your reactions, right? So you know where your profile is, like which are your real the needs that actually apply to you the most. All right, okay, so now Agatha is going to lead us in an exercise, and I hope everyone can actually participate in this.
Yeah, I actually want to share as well regarding my situation just recently. One of the needs was also hunger because I didn't finish my dinner, and I was like, I wanted to bring them to bed as soon as possible so that I can finish my dinner before the workshop, but it didn't happen. So that's why I was irritated too. So the exercise that we're going to do now is going to follow this outline, and I'm just going to share with you the outline. It's not the exercise. Don't worry yet. Let's just go through it first. So first, we're going to stop and breathe. We're going to connect with ourselves. We're going to then identify what is it that we're feeling, and we're going to give it space. Like, right, you're here. I'm going to give you space. Like, I mean, you're here. What can I do? Can't do anything, right? Because I can't like unfeel what I feel, right? So if the feeling is there, if the emotion is there, it's there. So the only thing that we can do is accept it. And when we accept it, we actually have this point A and have this issue. I mean, given what we're going to deal with. And then we're going to explore it. We're going to ask why it's here. What does it want to tell us? What does it need? What do we need when we have it? And in that way, we will find out what our needs are. And the last point is going to be is us making an intention to actually satisfy our needs. And satisfying our needs means that we can either do it ourselves or we can make sure, become responsible for finding support to satisfy our needs, because support is also one of our needs, in fact. When we go to the next slide, I'm going to talk a bit less quickly. And bear in mind, wait, let's go back just shortly. You will have a particular feeling or reaction that you experience, and we're going to take an unpleasant reaction. And when you start doing this, if you feel resistance, so for example, oh, I don't want to go there, I don't like it, I just don't want to do it, it's so like stupid, I don't like it, this is resistance, you know. Take this feeling, take this resistance and explore it, because if there is resistance, there's certainly a lot to learn from it. And it will help you to go even deeper next time, because yeah, resistance is like, this is where we need to go. So now we will do the exercise, and I have for you several suggestions. You can close your eyes and just listen to my voice and follow my guidance, or you can take pen and paper, a notebook, and write down your answers to the questions that I'm going to be asking. So take just a little bit of time and, okay, I have a question here. Why do we feel resistance? Is it a way that we perceive as protecting ourselves from getting hurt? Yes, it might be that, yeah. I mean, there are different reasons behind it, but it might be that. Yes, because if we are going to explore some feeling, for example, I decide to explore something right now, it's unpleasant, but then I'm going to find out that I need something, and then I'm going to think about this need, and I'm like, how am I going to get it? Like, how? Like, for example, I need love, and we might think, oh God, how am I going to get love? Like, you know, I never had it. Like, my parents never gave me enough love. And it's painful. It's painful to understand, to realize that this is what I need. It can be painful to understand that I need appreciation because no one ever said thank you to me, or like no one ever valued me. I need to feel worthy. And it can be painful indeed. That's why our body can protect us by feeling this resistance towards exploring that, because it knows that we are going to feel even worse. We might feel even worse because we'll be lost.
Can I just add, like, yeah, if that's you and you're feeling that way, you know, like feeling unloved, actually, the research has shown that many people feel isolated and lonely during the pandemic. So, you're actually not alone. It's just a feeling you get, you know, thanks to social distancing. So, I will encourage you to scan the QR code later. The QR code will give us, you know, so you just actually input your email address, and then we'll send you a volume on how to improve your sense of self-worth during this season, and I believe that you'll really benefit from the book.
Yes. So let's go to the exercise, and if you're ready, let's take a couple of deep breaths. Just deep breaths, John. You don't have to close your eyes yet. And if you don't want to close your eyes at all, don't do it. But if you want, it might be really helpful to close your eyes and so that you can really connect with yourself, you know, really listen deep within. So yeah, we're breathing deeply. And now we are feeling something, right? We might remember the event or situation where we experienced something really unpleasant, like something where I was angry, I was irritated, I was maybe jealous, or I said something to someone which I'm not proud of. Like, I'm like, oh, where was it coming from? You know, like, why did I said it, and like, just now, try to identify, to locate where in your body you have this feeling, the feeling that kind of made you do what you did, say what you said, this uncomfortable, unpleasant feeling. And allow yourself to feel it right now. Yes, it's not comfortable. It might be very unpleasant. You might not like it, but just bear with me. We are going further. So where are you feeling it? How does it look like? If you can imagine how it looks like, it actually gives it like some shape. And then you see, oh, it's just like this. You know, it's like, it's not taking over me. It's a certain shape, certain image, and I can actually look at it. I can even see it. And now you can say to it, even like, I see you, hello. I hear you too. I actually want to hear from you, you know? And I feel you, of course I feel you. So now just let's realize this. This feeling is there because it needs attention, because it is a signal to inform us, to inform me about why it's here. It's here to let me know what I need to know. And it is the best reaction that my body could have in the situation that I was in, or the situation that I am now. And if it could be different, it would have been different, but it couldn't. It is the best response of my body. So if I'm ready to hear, I'm going to say to myself, I'm ready to hear why you're here. I'm ready to hear why you're about, what you are about. If you're not, though, this is resistance. So go back and try to feel this resistance if you experience it. We are going to go further. Now we're going to ask this feeling, why are you here? Yeah, thank you, Denise, for sharing. Why are you here? What are you protecting me from? Yeah, and why? Why do you look like this? You can even ask, why do you look like this? What message do you want to share with me? What are you about? What are you responding to? And what do you need? What do you need? This is one of the most important questions. What does this feeling need? Or to ask yourself, what do I need when you are here? When I see you, when I feel you? What do I need? And the next step is we need to acknowledge that it is what I need. This is my need right now. I need what I need, and I have a right. I have a full right to need what I need. And it's okay to need what I need. So now we have identified the need that was standing behind the feeling, behind the reaction. Yeah, thank you so much. I see the responses. And we can just say to ourselves, I need this, I need this, I need this. And the next question that we're going to ask ourselves is how? How can I give myself what I need? How? Can I do it right now? You know, in a way, a lot of things we can actually give to ourselves right here, right now. For example, if I need love, I can just hug myself and say, I love you. Yeah, if I need respect, I can also hug myself and like touch myself and say, you are worthy. I respect you. If I need acceptance, also, I accept you. I accept myself. I am who I am. And I am who I am, and this is the best that I can be right now. If I could have been better, I would have been better. But at this moment, this is the best that I can do. This is the best that I can be. And I am worthy of love, respect, acceptance, and reassurance. I can also give it to myself, right? I can say, everything will be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Just trust. Trust your life. Let's trust the life. Life is good, you know? I mean, if we can give it to ourselves right now, this is what we do. But if we can't, we can promise ourselves that we are going to do something about it. And in fact, it is in our hands to do something about it. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we get what we need. And we seek for support if we can't give it to ourselves. So I'm going to ask myself, how can I give it to myself? Where can I ask for support? Who can help me satisfy my needs? What resources do I need? What knowledge? What kind of support do I need? And when we know this, we can focus our minds on what we need. And our minds are also going to look for us, even when we are not thinking about it consciously. Our mind, because it's going to be our intention now, like in the beginning of the workshop, we set intentions. Our mind is going to look out for the information that it can catch in order to fulfill our intention. And now, when we know what we need, we're going to make an intention to satisfy our needs. And our mind is going to be on the lookout for ways, for opportunities to fulfill the needs that we have. Well, it has a task and it will be working on it. And this, I believe, is life-changing. Actually, it helps us reframe from feeling something unpleasant and actually denying it because we really don't want to feel it. No, it's not mine. I don't want to feel it. It's so bad. Negative feelings, not for me. Think positive, right? A lot of times. Instead, though, we just recognize this unpleasant stuff and we go and explore and we realize what we need and we focus on that. And the next time, we can just think about what we want. About what we need. Yeah, needs and wants are a little bit different. Needs we need to satisfy so that we can function, so that we can be healthy. Wants are like extra, extra stuff. So, but anyway, in any case, it is helpful to focus on what we need and what we want instead of focusing on what we don't like and what we find unpleasant. So this exercise is not only helping us to find out what we need, but also helps us to reframe our world perception that the world is not satisfying to believing that we can do something about it. So, and if we believe that we can do something about it, we're going to go and take steps towards satisfying our needs and fulfilling our desires. Thank you so much for answers. I hope that this exercise was useful to you. You can actually make a screenshot, right, to save the script that you can use to do it by yourself. You can do this exercise by yourself by writing it out, by answering the questions in writing, or you can do it with your friends. You can, in pairs. Basically, your friend is going to ask you a question and you're going to answer them. Yes. In a situation where you might need more support, it is, of course, worth looking for professional support. So, yeah, now we're done with the exercise. And Denise has just shared as well, if your needs are not met, that they might somatize, they can become physical symptom. Yes, indeed. So it's really vital for us to meet our needs, to really be mindful of any discomfort that we might be feeling and like all unpleasant emotions as much as possible, right? Well, we can't be mindful of everything, right? But as much as possible, we can make an effort and explore, because if we don't, then the emotions, the feelings, the unpleasant reactions are going to become even bigger. And at some point, when they are not heard, when we don't satisfy the needs that are standing behind them, we might develop physical symptoms.
So I want to like add on. So for instance, based on your intentions earlier on, one of you said you want to find out how you can support your son better So we do have some students at Chatty who are students. They are from JCs, and the way I would like to teach them is that, do you know the year that you take your A levels, or even when you transit from secondary school to JC, like the demands on you have now expanded like a lot, and yet very often the resources that you have are still the same. So that's when this thing called stress occurs, right? Because you have more demands, but you don't have the resources. And we cannot be blind to that. That's what our children are going through, right? Right now, in the midst of the pandemic, they have to go to school every day, even though there is a pandemic going on. There may be something that's causing them stress. They still need to take exams. So, as parents, this is something that this unmet need course can teach you, right? Really try to explore this unmet needs with your child and to help them gain the resources that they need in order to meet these unmet needs. So for instance, like AJ says, sleeping, she feels like sleeping when needs are not met. Actually, this is one of the symptoms, but I'm not saying that you have depression, but sometimes I do it too. When I feel really stressed and anxious, my body just thinks, oh, let me just sleep. And then when I wake up, I might feel better. And very often I do feel better. Okay. But when you are going through an exam period, like for many of our kids, our children, they don't have enough sleep, right? So what will you do as a parent? Okay, some of the things you can encourage them to do is that, okay, over the weekends, encourage them to not use digital devices, maybe cut down on watching television, go and sleep early, you know, and that increases that neural resource that they need to study harder. On the other hand, for instance, maybe your need is healing, right? You really need to heal from some of your past hurts, past trauma. Then how do you equip yourself with resources? Well, as a mental health advocate, I would say one of the best ways is basically to learn about self-care from courses like this. But if you need some additional support, some additional resources to meet these overwhelming demands, why not speak to a professional? Okay, so today we have with us Agatha. She's a professional, she's a coach, she takes the coaching route. And my sister Denise, whom you heard from earlier on, she's a counselor, so she takes the counseling route. But when you have one of these people in your life, right, you realize that your resources drastically improve. So then the demands and the resource kind of match, so you won't really experience that much stress anymore. And in the workplace, for instance, you know what HR will do, right? When the staff are stressed, they might increase headcount so that the work can be spread out more evenly, then they will have less. But this whole thing about demand and supply, it also matters when you're thinking about mental health. Okay, in seasons of your life where there's more demands, okay, think about how you can supply your needs better. Firstly, by giving it to yourself, and secondly, trying to get a resource in a resourceful way. Okay, asking for help from others, or making sure really that you have self-care and you're resting enough. All right, so let's just move on. And now I have a demonstration with a balloon. Okay, so earlier on we were talking about exploring, but exploring can only work when you're slightly calmer. Okay, many of us, when we're really, really angry, we're like a balloon that's been blown up, right? Anytime some trigger comes to prick us, we're gonna explode, right? So for instance, sometimes when I'm really, really, really annoyed throughout the day, I'll explode at my son, for instance. It's not his fault. It's my fault for not expressing. So I'll just give you a demonstration, all right? So the morning I wake up, I am tired because I don't have enough sleep. And people ask me, how are you doing? I always say, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, so I'm hiding the tension inside because I'm like basically storing up my tension to be explored later on in the day, because now is not a good time, I say to myself. So when I arrived at work, I realized that maybe my staff made some mistakes. So now I, as the CEO, have to clear the mistakes. I'm quite afraid, right? Because of like fines from the government, whatever. So now lots of stress. But at the same time, no chance to express as well because there's so much to do at work. Okay, someone gives me a phone call. I realize it's my son's teacher complaining that he doesn't do his homework. I apologize profusely. Yeah, at that point, this is how I look like walking around the office already. Just walking like that. I meet Agatha, and then she's like, "What's wrong with you, Wen? You don't look like your usual self." And that's of course because I'm totally masked by my anger, right? Okay, so at this point, I want to ask you guys a simple physics question. This balloon that I hold in my hand, how do I reverse the process and bring it back to the original size? Okay, so if you have the answer, please put it in the chat. You know, the fastest way without exploding. Okay, anyone has an idea? Okay, AJ said release your fingers, right? Can you see the fingers? Right, so I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, yeah, so it's flown to the other side of the room, and I'm back to being myself again. So this method is what the NLP specialist would call express. Right? Express is so important. In fact, in Asian culture, we rarely express, and that's why it's sometimes like, you know, sometimes it's so stored and stuck inside us. We need an avenue to express, and sometimes we only express through eating. But let me show you other ways of expressing. Okay, like this. Okay, so as you can see in this picture, it's Agatha and her three kids. Actually, she has four. So, but the youngest one is too young. I actually encourage them to during this pandemic period take on taekwondo, and it's quite regular. It's once a week. But as they are doing it, they do it deliberately. They punch the sandbag, kick it, and when she's doing that, they're like, "This is all my frustration now. I really hate the pandemic. Oh my goodness, why does mom make me sleep so early? Why must she have work at this time of the day?" Yeah, so when the kids express their frustration, in a way, when the session is over, they realize, oh, they have inadvertently let go of their anger balloon, and then now can you see me again? I'm back to my grounded self. Because there are other things you can do: movement, dance, sports, martial arts, singing, acting, painting, even listening to music. Okay, but finding the best way to express is really up to your personal preference. Chatty wants to invite you to basically explore as many of this as possible and actually be deliberate when you're doing it. You know, you can't just say that I'm already doing it. I'm already watching TV. I'm already watching films. Yeah, but you must watch these films. Like for instance, like something sad happened to me. I love to watch Les Miserables because that the scene when Anne Hathaway sings, "I dream a dream of time gone by." So that scene, I was just I cried until my face cannot make it out. After that, I've already expressed the emotion out. Yeah, I needed that kind of thing. Yeah, so pick the right kind of film that can help you express the emotion to get back to the original state, and then you begin to explore. Okay, on the other hand, sometimes some people are like, I need to explore first, then I express. Okay, but we put this basically system here so that it's easy for you to remember the two E's: express and explore. So just like this, I want to say we are approaching the end of our session, and healing takes time, like what some of you have put in the chat. Okay, it's not like today you attend our session, then tomorrow you are healed. Like that is not going to happen, right? You need to give yourself more time, more letting go, space for transformation, which means give yourself a chance to be more open-minded and explore new activities, new ways of thinking, new frames. Be honest about how you feel, develop good habits, have courage to try new practices, cultivate inner peace. And I love this thing that Agatha has been saying repeatedly. Okay, have faith, trust the process. And many people who are anxious, they just feel like if they let go, nobody's gonna come and protect them. Okay, but I always believe that, like, yeah, we can trust because I'm a Christian, so I believe in God. And anyway, I believe that even if I did nothing, things are going to work out. So when I repeat it to myself frequently, even if I did nothing, things are going to be okay. Even if I did nothing, things are going to be okay. Then it takes off some of the pressure that I constantly place on myself and allows myself to heal. Yeah. So at this point, I'm just going to ask you to check in. Are you still feeling those feelings that you felt earlier, or have your feelings evolved? Okay, so please put your feelings in the chat. Oh, I see AJ said express through music and movement, watch and cry. Oh, Gabriel says sing the Frozen theme. Let it go, let it go. Yes. Oh, I love to sing. Yeah, that's really great. Okay, let's do an emotional check-in though. Like, what do you feel right now? Okay, so put like your feelings in the chat and then we can move on, alright? Waiting for some of your inputs before we move on. Okay, Kokila says, I feel slightly better. Was crying midway through the workshop. Now I have a tiny smile on my face. Hey, thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that you were crying. And not because I'm a sadist, but I just want to validate that crying means you're actually allowing yourself to feel, right? And when you allow yourself to feel, the feeling has done its job. It has processed into information. Then
Totally.
you can
I'd
heal.
like to add, sometimes people wish, like, for example, for birthdays or like whenever they wish us something, like, so that you're always happy, so you never cry, so that you never feel sad. And I'm like, no, don't wish me that. I want to cry. I want to be able to cry because I know how much release then happens, how much I can let go when I'm crying. And I want to keep this ability. I don't want to always be like, la, 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 la.
It will be very weird if you can only la 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 la.
Yeah,
You
but
need to be
crying,
able to cry as well.
yeah, I find it's healing. Yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations for those of you who cried today. Okay, so let's sum up because it's already 9. The key takeaways will be all of us have unpleasant reactions. If you can name me one person in this world without this, I will be very surprised. Okay, so everyone has it. Now we need to understand why they exist, right? They exist as information, and when we learn from them, we can begin to take responsibility for meeting our needs in a healthy way. Of course, today's session, we are only beginning the exploration process. So if you want to find more information, please like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and our website. We'll share more information. But if there's anything that we want you to leave today with, is a 2-step approach. It's an iterative process called explore and express. You can do it yourself, it's the best. If you can't do it, seek professional help because they are like your tuition teachers, right? They are tutors. They'll be there to help you explore in a much more efficient way. Okay, so right now I'm just going to leave the slide here. For those of you who haven't scanned this beautiful QR code next to this adorable bee, right? Which I can tell you honestly, we actually, Agatha and I, last night at around midnight, we were still looking for the cutest bee we can find on the internet. This is the bee. So to thank us for our effort selecting the cutest bee, please take out your phones and scan this QR code so that you can download our very first ebook published by Agatha and myself. We really believe it's going to help you a lot because it will explore ways of looking at yourself that will boost your sense of self-worth. And there'll also be activities inside that you can do. So once you fill in the blanks, you'll be able to repeat this frame for yourself to develop a very strong and rooted sense that I am valued, I am worthy, and I am going to behave as such, regardless of this blouse, or my singing voice just now, or the fact that I cried and I said that it's good to cry and that I'm happy that you cried. Yeah, I am still worthy, alright, guys?
Gwen, can I have a quick word about the healthy coping mechanisms that Kokita asked about? Kokila, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Just okay. So this is a really complex topic, but first is don't do things that are not aligned to your values. So if your values say that you don't want to overdrink because that's maybe against your religion, or you don't want to do any risky activity, then you don't be tempted to take the drugs or the alcohol. Okay, don't do that. Do things that are good for your, okay, WHO defines health as 4-legged stool, right? 4-legged: spiritual health, physical, emotional, and social. So for physical, it's good to you eat well, manage to sleep well, you do some exercise. For emotional, good to talk to your friends, or if you have no one who can listen to you well, talk to a therapist. Or okay, spiritual, you can pray to your God. rely on religion, or even just do some journaling. And finally, it's a social one. Let me just go out, meet people. Even if you feel really miserable, it's good to go out, because once you get out, that's called behavioral activation. Once you get out and interact, you usually feel better. So these are just a very short one. But if you really need help, Ko Kila, I can see you. First session with me is free of charge, because I sense that, you know, your heart is broken into two pieces and you're feeling quite down. I will see you just to offer that comfort. Just message me, okay?
Thank you so much, Denise. Okay, so I actually received a question that is there a link? So Terence, if you have a link, right, can you put in the chat right now so that people who cannot scan the QR code to get the book, they can also click on the link. Okay.
Also, Gwen, we have one question that I would like to address. It was asked privately. I just want to say, maybe those of you who would like to already leave, right? We can say that the workshop is over. So if you need to leave, please do. And for those of you who would like to maybe ask more questions, you can stay. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to our sharing. We are very happy to share what we shared because we feel it's life-changing. And we really congratulate you on being here and learning this information, because it can get only better from now on, I believe.
Yeah, we are very happy to be part of like your journey of transformation. Yeah, so now we're going to go to another QR code. You know, these days you're always scanning QR codes. This one will get to our feedback page where you can tell us, you know, how we can improve or what you have learned from our session. Yep, so if it is not too much trouble, yeah, let us know through this feedback form. I'm always very grateful, you know, even if it's not very pleasant feedback, because I realize it's the same, right? It's the same logic as unpleasant emotions. When you process it, it always becomes something that you can learn from. So let us know what you think. Honestly, don't have to sugarcoat. Yeah, but likewise, today we've got Agatha, we've got myself, we've got Denise, we've got quite a lot of people here who know quite a bit about mental wellness. So we're going to stay on for the next 20 minutes or so. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the group chat, and the three of us are going to answer the questions.
Yeah, I just want to also note that Terence has just shared a link to the surveys that you can fill out in order to get the ebook. So have a look in the chat, the link is there. And
there's a comment by AJ. Agatha, would you like to address it?
Yeah, thanks. I like that it's no drama, mama. Thanks for sharing healthy methods to thrive. Thank you so much for your comment. Yeah, no drama. So I'd like to address one question that I was asked, and yeah, I asked if it's okay to address it for everyone, to answer it for everyone, and it is. So let me just get back to it. It's quite high in comments. Basically, the question is how to support my child whenever I do something, I try to help them, they're refusing my help. And when they're refusing my help, I go out of control. Like, I am not myself, I'm not a good parent. I feel like I'm not a good parent, right? So especially I have several kids and feel overwhelmed. So yeah, what I would answer here is actually to recognize, what am I feeling first? You know, what exactly am I feeling? So meaning that, sorry, just, yeah, the mom is really, well, what I feel, mother is feeling helpless and lost. And the fact that the child is not responding to her support is actually making her even more stressed and overwhelmed, and completely not sure how to support the child and how to actually manage everything. So it is really important to explore the feelings that we are feeling in these cases, because if we don't do it, we make our children or people who would like to support responsible for how we feel. So in a way, we want them to get our support because we want to feel better, because we don't feel comfortable when they are refusing our support. I actually have the situation also with one of my children. I used to be very impatient with him. He would be feeling bad. He would be like, well, I would sense that he's feeling bad and I want to support him, but he wouldn't tell me anything. He wouldn't tell what's going on with him. So it made me angry because I wasn't able to support him. And in a way, why it made me angry? Because I felt uncomfortable and I wanted this discomfort to go away. But when I explored it, I realized that what needs were standing behind it. The need to be needed was there. The need to feel comfortable, the need to feel peace, the need to trust as well that everything is going to be fine with my child. So the child was kind of triggering all these emotions and that could help me to find out what I needed. And when I started to focus on that instead of focusing on the child, when I started to realize, yes, these are my needs, I'm going to give myself what I need. Okay, so what do I need to feel peace? What do I need to feel comfortable? Focusing on that, I realized that I can help my child differently. And my idea was, I can just be there by my child. Like, they don't want to tell me what's going on. I don't have to really be impatient and like shake them in order for them to tell me what's happening. I can just be there and say to them, you know what? I really care about you and I really would like to help you. And I'm here if you need my help. But deep inside, I feel okay. I feel comfortable because I've done everything I could. And also I could tell to my child and to myself, it's important to understand that I can't help a person who doesn't want to be helped, no matter who they are, whether it's a child or an adult. If they are refusing help, it's impossible to force this help onto them. So it's important to really just focus more on how we feel instead of thinking for other people and rescuing them. So because, and this is very important, when we are fulfilled and resourceful, when we put our agenda aside and actually come to support another person as they are, where they are, and tuning into what they need, this will be a very different kind of support than if we are overwhelmed and stressed and very uncomfortable and we're like, just shut up already, or like, just listen to me already, just do what I say so that you feel better, so that I can feel better, right? You see the dynamic here, it's very different. We really need to take care of ourselves first, to really fulfill our needs first, or find out what they are, right? To give our brain a task, like a direction, and this will be already enough in order for us to change the focus from like, oh, this is so annoying, the situation is really overwhelming. It will change like, yes, I know what I need to do, I know what I need for myself, let me just be here for another person right now, because if I really want to support them, I need to put my agenda aside. This is really important.
Yeah, I cannot just add to it. So because I was a teacher for 8 years, right, in a secondary school, and I mostly taught Sec 1 and Sec 2 students. So typically I feel that the students, when they are in school, they are very different from the way when they are at home. And some of the parents will come to me and say things like, I find it very difficult. By the time they come home, they're always like locked up in the room, playing on their digital devices, and they don't want to talk to us. But when they're in school, they kind of want to talk to me. So some of them will be like, can you talk to them? Okay, you are the teacher. I think they will listen to you. So what would it be that I've learned throughout these 8 years? I think if there's one thing that I like to boil it down to is the picture that we started off the session with, right? Where at every stage of your life, a caterpillar, a chrysalis, or a butterfly, there's something beautiful about your child, right? And then so for me as a teacher, I love trying to find things to compliment the kids for. Sometimes it's not the easiest, especially when they are really flipping out on you. But I would just go to them and try to find something that I think they value a lot, and I'll say, hey, I see that about you. I see that you have a talent for playing the guitar, and I really appreciate that. I can see that you're a talented person. And then like, but by reinforcing to them that there is something good about them, something lovable, I feel that when they get back home and they speak to their parents, there is that one thing that is on their mind, the freshest on their mind, is that they are worthy. So there's this model that Chatty uses. It basically asks you to reflect on the domains that are affected whenever you feel triggered. So the most fundamental domain is confidence. And many youngsters, they really struggle with their self-confidence, primarily when they are still seeking identity. That's the identity forming stage when they are in their adolescence and young teenagers. So at the same time, their prefrontal cortex has not fully developed, so they cannot really control their emotional response. And at that point, how do you support them? Yeah, from an educational psychologist point of view, we have to tell them the things that we appreciate about them. Just like just now at the start when we have like, oh, appreciate 5 things in your room. You can find 5 things that are nice, right? But sometimes as parents, when we are so fixated on the problems that our son is going through, we don't even think about the 5 things that I love about my son, right? So yeah, this is what I want to say. So AJ asked, does asking your child's friends to play with your child at home help bonding from a parent's point of view? Agatha, would you like to answer that question?
I could try. I would actually
I do have
rather ask like AJ, like, what do you think about it? Like bonding also from which perspective, like for whom? Bonding with their friends, bonding with the parent.
I would say that, okay, I'll try and answer first, then Agatha, you have to think.
Okay.
Basically, one of the things that has been impeded during the COVID-19 is, of course, inviting friends back home to play. But that is something that is also very important to try to facilitate as a parent, because when your children learn to play with their friends, okay, they actually develop social skills. And if you don't facilitate that as a parent, especially during the COVID, because it's very difficult to, understand the rules. So the kids need to get your support to like drive them over to their friend's place or drive their friends over to your place. If you facilitate that, you're actually helping your kids develop social skills. How does it help you bond with your kid? Certainly for me, my child. Okay, so my child is primary 5. He's 10 years old, right? So it helps because we love to play board games together. So in board games, we're not even talking about ourselves, right? We just want to play. We just want to enjoy. And when there are more people playing, it's more fun. And at the end of the day, when all is being said and done, kids really understand love in terms of the time spent together. And hopefully the time spent together is pleasant, so they can feel your love through the pleasant emotions that erupt in their brain. Like, oh, I'm so happy now. My mom loves me so much. Okay, so Denise has something to add.
Oh, yes, Gwen, sorry, Agatha, do you want to add something first?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing, very brief, okay? Regarding how we can support children the best way, actually, no one can tell you how you as a parent can support your child the best way, because you only can find out when you find yourself in a centered state, when you are there for your child, and when you have the child's needs in the forefront, when you are listening to them, when you're hearing them. And this is how you can really find out what the best support is going to be for your child, and whether inviting friends or not is the best way for the child to develop or to spend time, So I would really advocate for that, more listening to ourselves, tuning into what we need, satisfying our needs, and then also tuning it into what our children need. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. My point was like riding on Gwen's example, like the kids like to go to their room and start there playing games all day long. So we need to identify what need is it really being met. For some of them, it's because they're interacting with their friends by playing those games, right? Because they are like having a lot of people playing some internet games, right? So they're actually interacting. So that would be trying to fulfill their love and belonging need. So if that is really the need that was being fulfilled, then inviting those friends physically over to play a non-electronic game, like maybe a board game, like Grant's example, that would be fantastic. Because maybe it starts with the kids playing first, and after a while, gently try to ease the parents in that, hey, boy, can I join in also? I mean, if you don't mind, like, if you don't mind, can I join in for the next game? You know, slowly, you try to establish more of that kind of contact. So it can be quite good, you know, and also you can also observe how your child interacts physically with, in the physical presence of another child, and see if there's any problem with this social interaction. Like just secretly, like a secret police at the back, see how's the interaction going on. So that's actually great as well. And on the Kokila question, when you are having grief or being slightly depressed, say there's a very big precipitating factor like a breakup or something, it is very normal to progress, like take 1 step forward, 2 steps back, take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it's like a cha-cha, you're dancing, you wouldn't ever progress linearly. It's like a sawtooth curve kind of progress. Yeah. So don't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm taking 1 step back, I'm just like at ground zero. No, you're not. You're just following the natural trajectory. When it gets unnatural is when you start to see a very severe dip, and then all the suicidal thoughts start to come in, and you probably die before you reach the recovery. That's when you really need to go and get help immediately. If it's just a day or two that you feel miserable, that's fine. It's your 1 step back, your cha-cha. Okay?
I would like to suggest an exercise that you can do actually to practice patience, to practice gentleness with yourself. And it is basically an exercise that was started from a breathing exercise. With every breath that you take, you just say to yourself, I have enough resources to deal with whatever I'm feeling, whatever I need. The resources are there available to me. What I need to do is just to receive them, you know, like a breath, like air. Just breathe them in. Yeah, practice that. And then when you breathe out, you let go. You let go of all the struggling, you let go of things that are not serving you, and you make an intention to do it. You make an intention to give yourself space to do it, you know. You give an instruction to your body to let go as well. And this is kind of intentional breathing that can really help you to calm down, to be gentle with yourself, to be more patient with yourself, and to really develop this belief that you will be able to cope with it. There are resources that can help you to cope with it. So my really the thing that I would do, like I just read your comment and I was like, just breathe as much as you can, breathe intentionally. This is my recommendation, but of course you can evaluate it for yourself and whether it resonates with you, and then you can decide whether you want to follow it.
Yeah, and I just want to say that there are many resources. One of it is actually our YouTube channel, Chatty Caterpillar YouTube channel, where we have lots and lots of videos, playlists, and some of our own videos coming soon. So if you really want to learn more from us, do subscribe to us on YouTube. But I have a question now that's directly sent to me, and if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to put in the group chat because I think we're on a roll. So Agatha and I would be happy to answer together with help with Denise, okay? So this question is, for example, let's say if all of us have the ability to go back to the very start again, to choose whether we decide to be in this world, will you still want to be in this world or not? And I think this person is trying to ask me, because it's sent to me personally. I actually say yes. And the reason is because even though you know, there are ups and downs in life, there are moments that are really hard to bear. I actually am starting to enjoy my life so much that I am looking forward to waking up every day, going to work, meeting my colleagues. You know, like just now the example of the balloon. See, that's not typical. Most days, when I get to work at Chatty Caterpillar, it's always filled with jokes, laughter, food, new projects, new people to help, to serve, new people to learn from. So I also accept the love that comes from my sister. Today, for example, she came, even though this was my event, and then my partner Agatha, She's always been here for me. So I realized that there are many good things to be grateful for. Of course, personally, I've been through some hardship as well. For instance, my first marriage did not succeed. Okay, so I became a divorcee, and then I became a single mother, right? Because my son is now in this like split, and there are some downsides, and it's hard to explain to my kid. But that moment where I had my divorce, I feel like it actually shattered all the expectations that I had about life, right? Out of pride, really, because I always believe I'm a good girl, so therefore I deserve everything. But after the moment I had a divorce, I realized that, oh my goodness, I really messed up this time. So maybe I should be more humble. And then after that, I realized actually there are so many good people, so many good things out there, so many opportunities to be a loving person, so many opportunities to help. However, back then when I was still just focused on myself all the time, like on Gwen's unmet needs, I was quite a miserable person. But when I shifted my attention to how do I help make the people in my life happier, one of the examples I would give you is, for instance, whenever I felt like really dejected and rejected, right? One of my favorite habits is to take out my art materials and then make them into basically like cards. I make them into cards or bookmarks, maybe 100 bookmarks, and I'll start writing down the names of my students, my staff, or like people I love, and then with calligraphy. And then the other side, I'll start writing messages thanking them. By the time I get to 100, it doesn't take a long time. It takes about 2 hours. I forgot that I felt rejected because I realized there were 100 people who love me. And this is something that I would like to encourage you to try, positive psychology. So you do something to remind you that there are resources. In fact, there are many, many resources and many, many things that I am very grateful to be alive to experience. So to answer your question, it's like, yes, I would still very much rather be alive. Thank you for your question. Yeah, so if there are no further questions, thank you so much, everyone. Like each and every one of you who's still here now. There's 13 of you, and those of you who have joined us on Facebook live. We want to thank you for being part of today's experience. And we just want to thank our sponsor today, Terence, for making this event happen. If you'd like to find out more about what we do, okay, simply follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. And that's all we have for you today. Agatha, do you have any last words?
I just want to thank you so much that you have taken this time to learn something new and really take care of yourself, because this is also a form of self-care when you learn something. So I congratulate you on that. And I wish you a good night and a great week ahead. And all the best.
Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you for
Bye.
support as well. The people who have helped us with tech today, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.